Pensado's Place is brought to you by
the son of your brother or your sister would be what? Very good. That's our guest. We got a brand new ITL. We've got a winner to announce. Alex, crank it up. It's time for Pensado's Place.
I thought you said you were from the South, Herb. That question in the South might not be your brother. It could be your father. I mean, a bad joke, sorry.
Wow.
I should have practiced this one somewhere. Anyway, guys,
The South just clicked
it was so
off.
bad, they just cut my camera off. Man, welcome to this week's Pensado's Place. As you can tell, I got some sleep last night, which means I'm caught up, Herb.
Very
Officially
good.
caught up.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's been a
pretty
tough slog.
Ooh, man, that was a hard 3-month period. Man, we got a great show for you today. I can't wait to get into it. One of my good friends, Neff-U is here, someone that I've admired for a long time on many, many, many levels. So this show's not just going to be about music, but it's going to be about a lot of things that are equally as important. How was your week?
My week was good. You've been busy. Congratulations on a number of things. And you know, one of the things that we haven't done in a long time is thank everybody for your inquiries for Dave and all that kind of stuff. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And we try to get to that stuff. Let's get the good stuff out of the way and get on to it. Is that a good deal?
Let's do it.
Well, of course, we're coming to you live from the Art Institute of California, Los Angeles.
Yes.
Happy to do that. You know our social media drill. Get to Facebook, get to Twitter, go to our YouTube channel, like and subscribe like you usually do. We certainly appreciate that support. Hi to our partners and our friends, Vintage King. Yes. I saw Chefster and the gang this week. Went down there. Great time.
Yeah.
Great facility. You got to go
cool,
to
isn't it?
VKLA. It is so cool. Thanks, everybody there. We got Darren Finley in the chat room. Do you have a Stump the VK guy?
G and I are always arguing about whether mic cables and high quality cables, you can actually hear the difference. GI says you can. I say balderdash.
Okay.
Well, the southern equivalent of balderdash.
I got you.
So clarify that for me. Can you actually hear a difference in the difference between good cables and expensive cables? Not the difference between cheap cables and expensive cables.
Very good.
Mic cables in particular.
So
And speaker cables.
There you go. Ask Darren Finley about that stuff in our chat room. That's a good thing. Also, a big hello to our folks at Avid. Hey, Avid, how are you guys? We're coming up to some good stuff with them, and we're going to go up to Vegas on their behalf very shortly and do something at the Palm and their brand new studio and the launch of their HDX stuff. Really good stuff. Avid is giving away an Mbox Pro, and we're happy to facilitate that for you. Make sure you get into that contest. You can get us at pensadosplace.tv/Avid for an Mbox Pro giveaway. They are very good to us, and we want you to enjoy that. Moving on to Provence, France. Very good.
You ain't from the South, man. If you can find France on a map, you ain't from the South.
Canada, man, absolutely. So we had a really good time with our Mix with the Masters program. We really like those guys. We had a very robust and aggressive number of entries into it. It is a great program. You've heard us sanction it a number of times. You heard our guest sanction it. Dave and I are talking about him doing it. And we have a winner. So our winner is...
Dave Pensado.
No, it's not Dave Pensado. It's Brett Caldas-Lima. So congratulations to Brett Caldas-Lima. He's going to be at the Eric Kramer session and learn some stuff and hang out, do some good things. Happy to facilitate that for you guys and hope to do some in the future. Some new guys, and not new to you, but we certainly are creating an endearing relationship with them as our Izotope new friends.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That came out of that whole relationship is rooted in the fact that I use that stuff so much.
And I know from managing you how much you really like that stuff.
Well, I use it. I earn a living with it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but it doesn't let you down. They have great
Tiger
products.
doesn't like his golf clubs. He makes money with them. These are tools to me, and that's a great tool. It's a tool I use.
Well, let's
all the time.
let's congratulate our Alloy 2 winner this week. It is Vlady Veselinov. Vlady Veselinov. So let's give him a round of applause.
Is anybody named Jones or Smith or Rodriguez?
Absolutely. We're international, man, so this goes past that. So you want to enter this week's giveaway, pensadosplace.tv/isotope. Rewind that, pensadosplace.tv/isotope, so we can get you another one. I'll tell you a fun little fact. They have a plugin called the RX2 Noise Reduction plugin.
Very familiar with it.
And actually Will uses that in editing our show for YouTube.
I know, because he uses it on the ITLs because my dogs will make noise. It's got a preset called De-Dogger.
De-Dogger?
Yeah.
It does have a decatter?
It has a decatter,
Wow.
but this Izotope, they call it a D-Feline.
Oh, a D-Feline.
Yeah,
Oh,
D-Feline.
I got you.
And then a D-Wifer or D-Wifey.
You might want to stop right in here. Let me get out of here.
But all kidding aside, those tools seem kind of irrelevant until you need one, and then when you need one,
They kill it.
well, you got to have it. You know, it's like changing your oil in the car. It's something you don't want to stop and do, but if you don't, you're in trouble. I don't know what that has to do with plugins, but I'm sure you'll.
Well, the cool part is
They really work.
they really work. Everybody sanctions them. They are great people, and you can enter and win your own stuff. So we got a great guest. We got a great ITL. Why don't you introduce that, and let's get it rocking.
Today's ITL is, I wanted to kind of show you, I got really pissed the other day because I got a rough mix that was so loud. And so I thought, well, let me just see how loud I can make something. So that's today's ITL. This week, what I thought I'd show you is how to make your mixes bat crap loud. I've found myself recently needing to compete with some pretty loud rough mixes that I was given, demo mixes. And so I thought, man, I'm just going to see how loud I can push things without really destroying the sonic quality. I came up with a couple ideas, and I think you might like them. Some of these are techniques that I've shown you before incorporated within this major process. So let's think of this as the macro approach to making your mixes louder. One of the things I want to accomplish today is show you that sometimes you just can't put something on the stereo bus and expect that to make it louder. Mastering engineers do a great job of that, but we don't have the tools they have. Now, we've got some pretty good tools, but in order to maximize, and I chose that word carefully, the ability of what we put on the stereo bus to enhance the volume, you need to kind of pre-bake stuff before you send it there. So you kind of need to prepare it in such a way so that it can do its job more efficiently, whatever you've got on the stereo bus, for example, Ozone 5 or L2, whatever. So I'm going to show you some of those elements today on a macro level. Now, I'm going to play you the before. I've made an adjustment so that we're pretty close to the same levels on my VU meters on my stereo bus so that you can compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Here's the track. The tambourine is going to sound a little bit loud because obviously when it goes through the compression phases, it's going to get brought down a little bit. But all I did was just take all the plugins off. Okay, I'm going to add all the plugins back on and show you the after, and then we'll break down each stage. So here's the after what I did. This is at the same level. And now let's analyze what we did. First off, on the bass, we didn't really do anything high level. I just added a little bit of compression, a little bit of R-bass. This was a plugin that I inherited, so I didn't change it, but I like it. Now, on the snare is pretty obvious. On the kick, this is the main kick right here. So all I did on it was put a little bit of Chris Lord-Alge on it, and something I've been doing lately, just add a little touch of you can read these yourself. So now I'm dumping all of that into this aux right here. Now here's the kicks. Here's a little Stephen Slade I added. Just gives me a little definition. Now once again I sent it to my old buddy, my parallel track. all coming out through here. I'm calling this aux right here a half. Sometimes, like on this particular aux, I added a little bit of mid-range. We're going to go over that in a later ITL. Now, I always send my drums to an aux. Now, on this aux, all we're using is this aux right here. So let's check out what this aux is adding now. Everything's coming through this aux. Now this could be the same process for any type of music, rock, R&B, hip hop. Okay, now here's without just the aux. Now we're still going through the chain on the stereo bus. Okay, now I've got it set up to show you what I would do in a rock situation, what I would do in a hip hop or program drumming situation. So this would be the hip hop. We've shown you the 2007. I'm taking out a little bit of 50 because it's just killing my overall meters. Then I'm a little slope in the mid range to get me a little more punch. Can you see this right here? That here's 1,000. So I'm sitting around 1,000. This is just for volume. This is just for volume. Okay, so now this is what we got. Let's see what we would do for the rock side. I would do this for the rock side. Let's just leave that. Now heading over to the stereo bus, this is where we're going to run into a couple of old buddies. Now, to get it really loud, I like to kind of pre-bake it with a little bit of L2 going into the Izotope 5. I showed you a little bit about this plug-in. Ooh, look at all the noise I got. That's so cool. So this is the EQ I'm using. I'm taking out a little bit of 400, but once again, I'm emphasizing this mid-range. That's so important to get volume. Study your Fletcher-Munson curves. This volume, this area in here is so important. So let's start with nothing. Okay, this is with just the Izotope. That thing's a beast. And now this is what the L2 is doing. I'm going to turn the L2 on. I'm going to let a bar go by, maybe a bar and a half, then I'm going to turn the L2 on so you can see what it's doing. It's giving me a little bit of volume without any increase in headroom. I was watching my meters on my stereo bus when I did that, and they didn't budge. It's pretty impressive technique, even if I have to say so myself. So stay tuned, and I'll break down everything you want to know about kick drums and how to make them loud in a future episode of ITL, hopefully the very next episode. All right, see you. Guys, I got something on my mind I want to share with you. I was preparing to talk to Neff-U today, and some things came across my mind. I'm going to be serious for a minute with you. And I started realizing that almost exclusively the music I love and the music that I like seems to be driven by some sort of passion or some sort of cause. I don't know exactly the word, but it always seems that when music has a purpose, it just strikes me deeper and more fulfilling than music that doesn't. And I'm not going to say that music that exists just for entertainment isn't valid to me too, but there's several categories that I just love. I love music that like that back in the day when Herb and I were coming up, groups like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, they existed to try and end the war in Vietnam for a little bit, right? Herb, remember those days? Mm-hmm. Kent State and all that. Mm-hmm. And then groups like U2 have a political agenda. I like that. I like groups that are trying to save the world, like Bob Dylan, things like that, or socially conscious groups like MJ, and then groups that are all about the human experience and how to improve that. MJ again, James Brown, Adele talking about breakups. And then my favorite category is songs that exist for the praise of God himself. And those kind of songs seem to have a lot of passion for me because that's a big part of my life, my faith in God. And that therein lies part of who our next guest is. He came up in an environment where music sole purpose was to praise God, and I think that's given him a uniqueness. There's always passion and heart and feeling and soul in his music. And let's start right there, nephew. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good.
Welcome, man.
How you doing? Nice
Welcome.
to have you.
We're gonna have to develop something like a pound or something. Pound extender. Yeah, very good, though.
What was the semi-social one? Do a semi-social.
No, I don't remember that. They took that out of the black lexicon because it wasn't cool. Anyhow.
Damn, I just snorted. I hope we need that RX2 on that one there, Will. Nephew, man, your story is so inspiring because you came from a little town in South Carolina. Start me off on it.
North Carolina, yeah, which is neighboring. It's right next door. I grew up in church. The kind of church that I grew up in wasn't traditional. It really, you came as you are. And my father and my mom, they would always encourage me to really be a clean and clear vessel to where God can really express himself through me.
Your dad was the preacher of the church.
Yep, my mom and dad, they're still ministers today. And so my dad would minister, and my mom and dad are very animated. So if my dad was like, and the horses was galloping across the land, he encouraged me to put sound effects when he would minister. And
so you were, at a young age, you were the organist or the
music
synthesizer?
director, minister of music
How
at
old
my
were you
church.
when you were doing that?
I started to play when I was 2.
Wow.
I took over when I was like 7 or 8.
Took over as the musical director?
Yes, took over me and my uncle.
When you were 7?
Yeah, around 7 to 8.
Oh, another pound.
I'm telling you, his story is
Fabulous.
like, it's incredible.
I started off on drums and then on piano. So like my dad would start speaking and when my dad explained to me growing up as a kid, it's the anointing on my life that makes the difference. You have a lot of people that are talented and gifted, but when you anointed, it affects people differently. It's like God just channeling through you and you're totally not in control, and so my dad would minister to the people and my dad would teach me how to set the atmosphere. And the way to properly set the atmosphere, you would really have to be tuned in to God and just be a great listener. And
Were you on organ at this time?
organ, keyboard, organ, piano, and God would literally, he'd tell me this key, hold this note, don't stay here. And God would give me direction on how to direct the drummer, how the drummer to hold the cymbals, while the praise and worship is going. And when that would happen, next thing you know, growing up as a kid, I've witnessed healing because music was just so anointed and powerful. And I learned how to not put myself in the way of someone else's blessing. So when I'm playing music, I'm really just channeling God in the best way possible. And that's just been a great listener, praying and just letting them use me.
In your church, I know in my church sometimes there's testimonies, what we call it, where people stand up and give their testimony. And in your church, you used I don't remember in my church if they used to sing their testimony, but I know in a lot of the churches they would sing the testimony. Was that the case in your church where the
Yes.
ladies and the gentlemen would get up and sing, and you had to put chords behind that instantly without knowing where they're going, right?
Oh yeah.
That must have been terrifying.
It was really fun. People would come in and they'd testify about their week, what they've been through,
Absolutely.
how God delivered them, and bust out and start singing a song. So my father and mom, they trained me to always know how to cover a singer, make them comfortable. You know, set up when they like. They kind of talk about it as one thing. I'm gonna explain it to you the best way I can. When they start singing, I automatically start seeing the colors. I automatically start hearing the sounds, where to go. It's like knowing how to complete somebody's sentence. And the only way I can explain that is God, because with my self-logic, no way that I could possibly do that.
Can't come to a conclusion about
I can't
that.
to think about how can I complete your sentence without a higher source telling me this is where they're going to go. And they're making up the song as I'm making up the song. Even in praise and worship, you know, that we can start off singing the song that may be a cover, and then God will take over, and we'll start just making up our own song, and the band will just flow. It may just be one note, but that one note will turn into
And
an
you know what? Because I grew up in a very religious household and transferred our Baptist stuff in Canada to Southern Baptist when I moved to the South. So that was a broad range of the Baptist experience for me. The theatricality that music plays in a church like that is amazing. I mean, you'd have to cover people who were shouting, who were caught in the moment, and whoever was doing the music had to glue all that together, keep that moment, know how to bring it up or not. It must have been an incredible training ground for what you're doing now.
Yes. It's one thing to allow God to use you and where the people are praising and worshiping, but also set the atmosphere to where when the minister do come, knowing how to tone it down.
Yeah.
And just set the place to where people they just don't dance all day, which is nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But it's really getting the people ready to hear a great word, to be encouraged.
I'm gonna stop real quick. I grew up in this kind of environment, so everything that Neff-U is saying just seems normal and natural to me. If you didn't come from that world, it might sound a little unusual to you and a little strange to you, but pay attention, because this is like I started off his segment, this is the source of a lot of creativity and inspiration. And I think as the interview progresses, you're going to learn how deep and how incredible this gift that he's been given is, and how his thought processes work. One of the things, and a little transition, is a lot of people don't know that in the church, there's no planned verse or chorus order or anything. The chorus might come 10 minutes into the song. It might come right after a verse. There's no when there's no structure. There's no structure.
It's a feel thing.
It's a feel thing.
Absolutely.
And isn't that what music's about? Feel.
Yes.
And take me from the 7-year-old protege who God gave an incredible gift to. How did you get to the next phase? You wanted more. You wanted to move and use your talents not just in the church but in the secular
You
world.
probably had no choice. That mission was laid out for you.
I'm gonna go to the future, and then I'm gonna backtrack.
Okay.
California, I had no idea what California was. That was like a dream or fantasy. You know, I just remember sitting in front of the TV and looking at Moesha, you know, and thinking there's no way I could be out in a place where palm trees.
Brandy.
And so to backtrack, I never planned it. I just listened, and even when I wake up today, God is always ordering my footsteps. And I realize every time I've tried to plan something or try to chase something, it's never worked out for me. And so growing up as a kid, growing up in church, and around 14, I became a music director for like the gospel plays, like the Tyler Perry kind of plays.
Oh yeah.
And that came from, you know, my father allowing me to basically score people. You know, talk to them, feel their energy, and just score them. You know, score their emotions, you know, their personality, their character, their facial movements. And everything has a sound. You just have to learn how to hear it and place it. Then from there, I was in symphonies and orchestras growing up. And that gave me a really great appreciation for people like Mozart and Beethoven, and John Williams was just one of my favorite influences. And from there, my cousin told me about a school named Berkeley. And she said it's a place to where people from all over the world come just to play music. And so I thought I'd try it out, and I tried out for the World Tour Scholarship, and I got that. And
For the what now?
the World Tour,
Tour.
Scholarship at Berkeley College of Music in Boston. So me and my dad flew up there, and it was my first time really in a big city like that. So just that whole change in my life was really important to me. And going to Berkeley, I was able to see amazing musicians from around the world. And that to me was like, it was a music heaven. You know, you get to learn, you get to be around great players, people who think differently from you, people who have different outlooks on life. And to one day, a guy came in my room, my dorm room while I was playing. And because I didn't know what a producer was or a songwriter. I really went to school to be a film scorer. And when I seen all of that equipment, I was kind of intimidated. You know, it's like, man, like, yeah, like
That's too much.
So I thought the biggest you can be in music was probably playing behind the Kurt Franklin or Hezekiah Walker, and you know. So my friend, he came up to me, Lon Adams. A friend came up to me in my dorm room one day. He was like, "What do you plan on doing for the next 5 years of your life?" And I thought about that. He's like, "I noticed you're playing everywhere, but what's your career?" And since a little boy, I've always made beats. I didn't know I was making beats. I would get on the keyboard and I would play the drum part all the way down. Then I would just play the keyboard part all the way down. And he's like, "Well, that's called producing, and people actually have careers from that."
I'm like, you can get paid for this?
Yeah. I'm like, really? And this is something that I
Of course,
love.
you got a lawyer and sued your dad, right?
Oh, no.
That's the California way.
So I was in this room making this, I would call it my rock and roll beat. And it was in my college dorm room. And it was off a Triton keyboard when the Tritons first came out.
Sure.
And so in that moment, I realized what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a producer. So I called my parents up, and they was like, "You want to leave school? You want to be a producer?" I was like, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing in my life." So my parents told me to think about it. You're going to come and, fly up next week to look me in my face. And they flew up, and they felt my heart, and they didn't want to hold me back. And they was like, "You have our blessing, and we believe in you." And
Wow.
and during that time, I was taking trips to New York, meeting people like Macy Gray, and I remember took a trip to New York, and these group of guys walked in the door, and this is me not growing up on secular music, not being allowed to listen to secular music during that time. So I didn't really know anyone. So I remember walking into the studio, and these guys walked in, and it was U2. So I'm actually having a conversation. They were really nice guys. And that's a funny story I tell. And then from there, I remember a friend of mine named Eric Walls was in California. I think he was playing with Jodeci there at that time. And he told me that he had a job for me out here in California with Atlantic Records. To me, it's just I can't really imagine what it is, because palm trees are still a big thing for me.
Right.
So next thing you know,
Palm tree.
it was true. They got me a ticket. Atlantic got me a ticket. I had $500 in my pocket, a keyboard, an amp, and a suitcase. And that lasted me for 12 years.
This is so interesting, this tact, this approach. Let's keep this going. Matter of fact, when I did research on you, you had an interesting connection with Will Smith. Tell us about how that happened.
The Will Smith, it was really interesting. When I was in college, in my dorm room in Berkeley, I would always be making the same beat over and over.
To everything.
And I would ask my friends to come in and check out this rock beat I'm doing. And this is in college. And so years later, I don't know how it happened, it got in the hands of Will Smith. And Will Smith, they wanted to know who did this beat. And they finally contacted me. And it became the theme song for Men in Black 2, the theme song for Burger King, and his single. And That was definitely God.
Now,
However
you were
God
still in
did it.
college at that time?
I was making it in college just for the fun of it. I would just, tell my friends, listen to this rock beat that I can do. And this rock beat that I was playing around with in college ended up being the theme song for Men in Black 2.
And then at some point in time, you made the decision to leave college and pursue your professional
With
career.
my parents' blessings, because being in college and being from the South is a big deal.
Yes.
And so I told them that I found out what I wanted to do with my life, and that was I wanted to be a producer. And so my parents came and they looked me in my eyes and they gave me their blessing. And they said, we don't ever want to have that story to where you told us they helped me back, and so we believe in you. And so they gave me their blessing, and I got a phone call from Atlantic Records, and from my friend Eric Walls, who was working with Atlantic Records at the time. That was during the Sunshine Anderson days. Heard it all before days.
Oh, yeah.
And so I remember I had $500, a suitcase, an amp, and a keyboard, and that stretched me for 12 years.
Oh, my God.
And it was like the 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. And so I came out here, and a group of guys that I knew in Boston called me one day and said they were coming out here to meet with a guy named Dr. Dre to play him some music. And I didn't know who Dr. Dre was. Growing up, I couldn't listen to any of that stuff. It was just really all classical and gospel music and music that we made up in church. And so I was like, all right, cool.
Whoever this guy
yeah.
is.
And so I got a phone call back. This is when Dre had an artist named Truth Hurts at the time.
Sure.
So Dre wanted the beat, and so later, Dr. Dre and we hooked up, and he became a mentor of mine. He introduced me to things like George Clinton and Parliament, which is good for me because a lot of gospel players, people who come from the church, don't have the ability to cross over to make records because it's so rich. The music is so rich, and I've learned now with songwriting is really actually very simple. And one of the most important instruments in a song is a person's voice. And so Dr. Dre introduced me to like George Clinton and Parliament and taught me space, taught me the importance of choosing sounds, not just using generic sounds, but creating space and how space is also a sound. And Dre was really great for that. And he just basically merged my gospel with funk, and this whole new cool sound came out. And from Dr. Dre, I remember later, I got a phone call from Michael Jackson. And again, Michael Jackson, I wasn't familiar. I wasn't a fan like that because I didn't grow up on him. I was more of a fan of like, Kirk Franklin. Well, not even Kirk Franklin during the time, but like Hezekiah Walker, John P. Keefe. Because gospel music the instrumentation is way more complex and is more, when I say rich, you get more when it comes from a musician's point of view. But later, throughout my years, you grow and mature in music, you learn that simplicity and chords and melody are really important. And that came later when Michael Jackson became my mentor, and he started teaching me the importance of, he would say these words. He would be like, Neff-U, he's like, melody is king. Melody is what translates to the world. If there's no melody, people of other languages won't be able to connect with you. And what I took from that is when you have great melody, then you have the chance to let lyrics be a reflection of who you are inside. And Michael would say things like melodies are ancient, they've been around since the beginning of time, and they're just in the heavens waiting for us to pluck. And in my experience with him, is when you listen, is when you let the music do what it do. Like, it comes like rushing waters. And sometimes the music would be so great that me and Micah was playing. And by the way, I know the album that came out, but there's records that Michael wanted the world to hear, that the world hasn't heard yet, but we would play music to the point where Michael and I would get on our knees and start praying.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Him and I would be like, thank you, God for the music, you know, and Michael knew where it came from, and I knew too, because it was just so evident that it was bigger than us. And Michael would teach me about being cutting edge. Like he would say, the reason why music, there's no innovation or there's no innovative record sales is because nobody is really going there or challenging themselves or being those visionaries. And I took from that is, you know, people have to learn how to be close enough to the curve to where people can relate to you, but be far enough away where you're still fresh and you're still innovative. Knowing your history, but also being honest with yourself and not being afraid to express yourself, even if it don't make sense to anybody else. And then for Michael, I hooked up with Babyface. We started working together. And again, everybody that I'm mentioning, I didn't have a history of them growing up. So it was really just, we all met on the even playing field, and we were able to respect each other from a person. Is how they make me feel, how I made them feel, is respect. And Michael, he would just tell me his secrets and how he got his greatest songs and inspirations, and you know, he would just teach me about being the best. And being the best is loving yourself and being confident in who you are. And then Babyface would teach me the value of songwriting, you know, melodies. The most important thing I can remember from Babyface is him and bridges. He would always challenge me on my bridges.
Is that right?
Yeah, he would say things like, don't make your bridges go down, make them go up. He was a really nice guy, and he really believed, he would say things like, he would be like, Nephew, if people can't hear what they're saying, there's no song. If you can't hear the lyric, there's no song. And I will always remember things like that. And I look at Dr. Dre and Michael and Babyface and even Barry Gibb during the time when Michael introduced me to him. Those situations for me were like school, preparing me for now. So when I do meet with other artists, I know how to bring the best out of them, you know, to encourage them, to show them how to be the greatest them possible.
How did you get from that point in your career to like Eminem and 50 Cent and all that?
Dr. Dre. I remember Dr. Dre, he's like, I want to fly you up to, I think, Nevada during that time. And let's go work with Eminem. And so I'm like, all right. So we got on the plane and went up to this studio in Nevada. And I remember, to be truthfully honest, I was nervous not because of who I was around, but because I didn't think I was good enough. I was like, man, like what am I supposed to do? Like, I know I can't play no church chords, you know. And so then the memory of how my dad would teach me how to score people, and I just heard my dad's voice just score who they are. So Eminem was sitting right there, Dr. Dre was sitting right there, and they were just looking at me. I was looking at them. And so this guy came out from the back, and it was actually Mailman. Mailman came out from the back and was like, yo, if you don't play, somebody else will. So I'm like, okay. So then that's when I like, you know what? I looked at Eminem, so I got on the keyboard. I went, dun 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 dun. Let's get down to business. That's how that song came to life. Because I got challenged, and that's when everybody was like, oh. Then Dre got on the beats and started playing, and literally, it was the ultimate band. And Michael Ozone was on the bass, and
Mike's friend.
And it just all came together. And all I did was listen and pay attention and watch. And
One of my favorite combinations is you and Mary. Mary's got such a strong, I don't know what the noun would be, but like her soul and her heart and her passion is like tailor-made for your skill set and your background. How did that work out with Mary? Did you guys sit down and write together, or did you present her with finished songs, or both?
I played her with Mary. I actually played her a track, and when I played her a track, I remember her husband Kendu invited me down to the house, and this was when Mary met for the first time, and we ate some food and we talked, and just looking her in her eyes, you seen her strength. You seen her. She wasn't scared to show you her vulnerability. Or,
Mary's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Her and Keisha.
Yeah.
Keisha Cole.
And she was just honest and genuine.
Yeah.
And just powerful. Like, the music moves her. And when...
But she's fearless.
Yeah, exactly.
She's fearless. She'll bring it to. You know, interestingly enough, why don't we find out some technical things? Why don't we tee up Batter's Box and ask him some questions on stuff you use and so on and so forth, and see that part of Neff-U as well too. Your arm loose?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All
Got
right, let's
a few
pitch
million
it.
more questions. I guess we'll go to
Let's
this.
tee it up.
Okay, man. We're gonna do a little bit different today, Herbert.
Okay.
We're gonna kind of we're gonna go for instruments, virtual and real.
Oh, cool.
So this is gonna be fun. You ready now?
Fire away.
Bass.
Bass trillion.
Okay. Any preset?
Trillion, I love I may not know how to pronounce it. I go to the electric bass.
Okay.
And it starts with a beat, bison something.
I don't know. You're on that.
It's a really nice bass, and I usually put like maybe some fuzz on it.
Okay.
You know, a guitar amp or something, and give it some character.
Good dude.
Piano.
Piano, it's this new piano named Giant that Native Instruments have came out with.
Oh, okay.
That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
What about strings?
Philharmonic.
Oh, good. What about pads?
Omnisphere.
Any preset?
Preset.
Well, I guess that depends on the song.
Yeah, depends
Okay.
on the song and person.
What's your favorite keyboard for writing and creating on? Just you and a keyboard. What do you do?
Anything I can get my hands on, as long as it play.
And Batter's Box interruption, because you play a lot of different things.
Yeah,
correct?
anything I can get my hands on.
It's self-taught and
Also I know how to read as well.
back to Batter's Box.
There's back to me. There's a video of him, some guy in this little pink thing. I don't know what it was. On Taxi, remember? Little tiny keys, and he's sitting there like, I'm like, holy cow! I was like, what, 20 keys, 10 keys? Like, I was impressed by that. Guitars,
Guitars.
fake guitar sounds.
Actually, Contact has a great guitar plugin. That's really amazing that I use a lot.
That's all I got, Herb. I think he cleaned my clock.
He did really well. He did really well, and there's so much more to. Well, I'm sure there's some other questions to get to him. Let's GI, you over in the corner for our corner office.
I sure am.
Let's say hello to GI Griffin. GI, let's tee up some stuff for our guests. It looks like our corner office is full of stuff.
All right, let's go. First one is for Neff-U from Scruffy Dog 2. When writing, do you sequence to a grid or just lay down exactly how you played it?
Both. It depends. If I'm playing live, like with a live band, usually you need a click. I play to a click, so when you doing vocals, and if you've ever flying anything, you can, fly it onto the grid. Or unless I'm playing with the entire band and the singer at the same time. But it's really great to really try to play with a grid.
But you never quantize your keyboard parts, do you?
No, play all live. I just feel it. Because a quantize can take the character or personality of your real feel out the equation.
What about your drum programming? Do you quantize the drums when you program the drums?
Sometimes I may keep the kick on, but even sometimes just using I use Logic as well as Pro Tools, but using the swings to where it feels almost exactly like your natural feel with maybe just a kick, but snares just feeling it, and percussion just feeling it.
Gotcha.
GI?
This one is from Mingo Productions. Question for Neff-U. In this day and age, you see numerous producers on one single. What do you think constitutes producer credit? Building a drum beat, writing a song, keeping the project on budget, or all of the above?
Can you repeat that question for me?
Yeah. Basically,
I got it. What he's saying is, back in the day, you'd see like one song, one producer. Now you see multiple producers, like someone produced the vocals, someone produced the track, someone went and got coffee.
There's nothing wrong with that. It just depends on what the producer, what responsibilities he wants to take on. Me, I can see it from A to Z. Like, I understand how to start out with the piano to get a great song, which is lyric and melody. And then from there, when it comes to production, you can produce something 100,000 ways. And then from there, going through different mics to see which mic translate best on a vocalist. And, preamps and different things like that. And then getting the best possible vocal out of an artist. And then from that, send it to Dave, and, Dave put his blessing on it. And
Thank you.
G.I.?
This one is from Alex Oreo. Neff-U, I've heard once in an interview that Eminem wanted to create a kind of 70s rock feeling for the Eminem Show LP. What would be your thought process or workflow to accomplish that?
just get in the room and have a good time.
All right.
He really means that. Expand on that, because I've heard you talk about this before.
Meaning, if you're already in the room, that means you're talented, you're gifted, you already have the skill set. So when you get in the room with people like that, your main job is to be able to listen and translate. And it's really that simple. I don't ever try to change an artist. I always try to enhance who they already are. I really just reveal to them who they are. And if that's what he wants to do, is just making it happen, getting us out of his brain and imagination, and creating something new and changing the game, being innovative. Not doing something people have heard before, but really try to push it, push to the limit.
So the idea is to have vision, but also stay in tune to your intuition.
Yes, be close enough to the curve to where we can relate to each other, but still be far enough away to where you're still fresh.
Gotcha.
And you're innovative.
When you work with an artist like we're naming, and you weren't familiar with their past, is that an asset or a liability? Is that something that makes it easier for you to create this way, or
It's great. I don't like to know a lot about who I'm working with, because
other than they're good?
Yeah, and because for me to premeditate creativity can kind of spoil the freshness of it. When you come in a room, you just want to open your eyes and go. And however they inspire you, just let it happen.
I've never heard it described that way, Neff-U. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
That's
let it go.
Totally terrifying to work that way, though, isn't it?
But the thing about it, your gift makes room for you and puts you in front of great men. And when everybody has a gift.
That's in Proverbs, isn't it? I read that.
And everybody has a gift, but it's about who sharpens their tool the most. We can all hear the same thing, but whoever loves their gift and is passionate and take care of it and practice and nurtures it.
What was the Bruce Lee line you used about practicing? Do you remember that? It was something it's better to practice one kick 1,000 times than 1,000 kicks one time, or was it something like that?
Something like that. Let's see, you just gotta think about it.
Would you get up and demonstrate that? G.I., give us another.
All right, this one is from Andrew Williams-Pence. How do you adjust the personalities in the studio that are completely opposite of yours, but still make them comfortable and able to perform in the way the song needs?
When you don't adjust a person's personality, you enjoy another person's personality. It's like eating different plates of food. It's like seeing another color and blending it with yours. Light is supposed to mix. And when you see another person, you learn from them. Be inspired by them, talk to them. And when you intimidate someone, you're not gonna get a lot from them. But if you love on someone, you nurture them, and you encourage them, they not only will they give you their best, but they'll go over and beyond. So it's the kind of energy you put out. And a lot of creation, to me, is how you treat people. It's how you respect them. You know, people want to feel good. People want to feel loved. You want to know that they're great. And if you're not at a certain skill level, everybody has a gift called potential. And when you have potential, potential can exceed greatness. Potential can exceed legendary. As long as you have potential and heart and great work ethic, and you a great listener, this amazing saying was said to me. You have winners and you have champions. And the guy asked me, which one am I? And he's like, before I answer, he was like, a winner, Lakers, everybody's on that team is a winner. You in the NBA. You won. You winning. But when things get tough, who do they go to?
Champions.
So you got to ask yourself the question. You have a lot of people in the music business who wants to do a lot of different things, art, drawing, whatever you are in life. But you got to ask yourself, which one are you? Are you a winner? Or are you a champion? It's those champions that go over and beyond because you love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before we wrap up, Dave, I know you had another question.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to try and let Neff-U kind of end this up. We've talked about your path, your career path, the inspiration you got from family and church, your relationship with God. A cat growing up in LA that didn't grow up the way you did, or a cat growing up in Des Moines, Iowa that didn't grow up the way you did, what can you leave them in terms of encouragement and what they should take from your story in order to help them get to the same position in the industry that you are now? Because you're in a very, very high position. You've had so many hit records, so many Grammys. Take us home by just giving them a little encouraging speech on what to take and how to listen to this program and what to take from it to get their career going like you did.
Prayer, first of all, I'll say that. The second thing, really decide what you love to do. If you want to be a piano player, practice. Classical music is great, but I would suggest people to mix it up. Learn jazz, but also get with other players. You may not be as good as them yet, but when you play with people that are better than you, you're gonna get good.
You raise your game.
And that also, if you want to be a singer, practice your vocal lessons. Understand what your voice is. Listen to great songs. Nurture your voice. Take care of your voice. If you want to be a songwriter, be honest with yourself. Don't write somebody else's song. Write your song. Be the best you. And be honest with yourself.
Where does school fit in all this?
School fits in because you're surrounded by other players and musicians and artists, from drawing to cooking, whatever, that they're passionate and they love it. And when you get around, it's like science. If I'm one light, and if I get around this light, my light is going to get bigger. And if I get around another light, it's going to get bigger. So when you get around people that have the same mindset, have the same goals, are passionate, they're going to push you to be great. And when you're around people like that, it's attractive and it's addictive. And
You just described the church.
Yeah.
I guess you can go to church and get that experience in a number of places, not the religious part, but just the sharing music part in other ways. And your story is so inspirational. I wish, will you come back? I'm using Herb's line. He always asks that.
Actually, can I just change that really quickly?
Yeah.
You don't have a choice.
aha!
You're coming back. What an absolute pleasure. Kudos to you for absolutely embracing your faith and keeping it. Kudos to mom and dad. You raised a great guy. Congratulations on your newborn and how serious you take that
Thank you.
and being a parent. And thank you, just from an industry person, for bringing that spirituality to a business that oftentimes doesn't have it. It's really good to watch soldiers carry it forward. So just wanted to say that to you.
Thank you.
Wrap us up, Dave. Take us
Ooh,
home.
what do you say? Guys, there's so much depth, and there's hamburger and there's steak. We got a lot of steak today, so you got to chew it a little longer. You got to 27 times to be exact. Just check this over and over again, and one of the beauties about our show is I think we are providing a spot where guys can get together and hang out as musicians and hang out as people. And I can go on and on and on. This was a very inspirational hour for me, and I really appreciate Neff-U hanging out with us and sharing some of the insights that you'll never get any other way except to talk to a cat like that. Anyway, see you next week. Thanks.